The ash fell like gray snow, a perpetual twilight that had swallowed the sun for a generation. I, Elara Vance, was a memory weaver, one of the last to hold the rank in the Citadel. My job was not to remember, but to forget, to carefully disentangle the painful, dangerous memories from the minds of our survivors, and spin them into the great silent archive that orbited our dying world. My own world was the sterile glow of a neural interface suite, my hands dancing over holographic strands of other people's pain. It was honorable work, they said, essential for survival. Yet my hands ached with the ghost of soil I had never touched, and my dreams were filled with a color, a vibrant, impossible green I had never seen. The anomaly was a fissure in a veteran's memory stream, a fault line of data that shouldn't exist. A memory not of loss or trauma, but of a place. A valley under a blue sky bursting with life. The Citadel systems flagged it as a hallucination, a stress-induced fabrication. But the sensory data was too rich, too coherent. The feel of cool grass, the scent of rain on leaves. The taste of wild berries, it was a memory of Earth as it was, not as it is. The rules were clear. Excise it. Preserve the subject's peace. Yet my finger hovered over the purge command. This wasn't a wound. It was a map. To preserve the memory was treason. The council maintained that hope was a toxin in a rationed world. But this wasn't hope. It was evidence. I did not purge it. Instead, I did the unthinkable. I wove the memory into my own neural lattice, grafting a stolen world onto my consciousness. The weight was immediate, a beautiful, terrifying secret that lit up my mind with alien sensations. I could now close my eyes and stand in that valley, feel its sun. My sterile reality became a cage. The fissure was a trailhead. The memory contained a geotag, a set of pre-fall coordinates, now buried under 1,000 miles of toxic dust and ruin. It pointed to a place called the Eden Vault, a seed bank and biosphere project lost to the cataclysm. The council had written it off as destroyed. This memory proved someone had been there. After the fall, to follow it meant abandoning my post, my purpose, and becoming a data ghost in the Citadel systems. I would have to walk out into the dead world with nothing but a stolen dream for a compass. I left at the peak of the ash storm cycle, when sensors were blind. My suit was a second skin against the corrosive atmosphere, its filters humming a lonely song. The journey was a pilgrimage through a skeleton. I climbed mountains that were the bones of cities, crossed plains of glassed sand where shadows were permanently burned into the ground. The stolen memory was my only solace, a pocket of green I retreated into. When the desolation threatened to swallow my will, it was no longer just an image. It began to feel like a promise I had made to someone I'd never met. After weeks of travel, the navigator led me to a seamless mountainside. A scar in the rock that looked natural until you saw the perfect geometry hidden by millennia of landslides. The entrance to the Eden Vault was not just intact, it was waiting. Biometric scanners, dead for centuries, flickered to life at my approach. The doors, 50 feet thick, exhaled a breath of preserved, sterile air as they parted. Inside was not a tomb, but a cradle. Under soft, artificial suns, rows of vibrant green stretched into the distance. Trees, grasses, crops, a living archive of a planet's lost biology. But the true revelation was at the vault's heart. In a control room frozen in time, a single sarcophagus glowed. Within lay the source of the memory, a man in preservation stasis. His last neural broadcast, a continuous loop of his favorite place, sent out as a final beacon. He was the last keeper. His log entries played for me, his voice calm in the silence. "The world above is lost," he said, But the pattern is not. The pattern is here. Someone must remember how to grow a world, not just how to survive one. My purpose shattered and reformed in that moment. I was not a weaver of endings, a curator of safe small memories for a dying species. I was a planter of seeds. The vault systems were intact, its terraforming drones dormant but functional. It held not just the biology, but the blueprint, the pattern, for regeneration. The memory I carried was not a nostalgic phantom. It was an operational schematic for life itself. The Citadel taught us to forget pain to endure. This place taught me to remember joy to rebuild. I initiated the awakening sequence. The great machines stirred from their long sleep. I did not return to the Citadel with a message. I returned with a sunrise. I guided the first drone-carried seed pods through the ash storms, planting them in the dead soil. Then I broadcast the full, unedited memory, the valley, the feeling, the pattern, on an open channel, a data burst of pure, unweaved truth. It was not a request for permission. It was an invitation. Across the globe, in other citadels and buried shelters, people felt it. A surgeon paused, her scalpel hovering, as the scent of pine flooded her mind. An engineer looked up from a reactor core and saw, for a fleeting second, a field of golden wheat. The memory, virginal and powerful, bypassed their curated realities. It asked no questions. It simply was. And in being, it created a new question. What if? I stand now at the edge of the first growing zone, watching the first genuine green shoots push through the gray crust. They are fragile. They are real. The air still tastes of ash, but now, beneath it, there is the faintest hint of rain on leaves. We are no longer survivors preserving a past. We are gardeners planting a future. And we are remembering how to hope.